Room to Roam. Author's Note. The book you see before you was never meant to exist. In fact, it is a culmination, a kind of snowball, of seemingly independent events which turned a pile of notes and photographs from a trip I had taken what was then a year ago and became a pushing of there's more. When I came back from Europe in the winter of 2015, I had a blog which I was posting everything onto. The blog would get read by mostly friends and family. Sometimes a world map of readers would illuminate a country like Italy or Iceland depending upon the topic of discussion. But it wasn't something I had high hopes for, just a simple way to share some memories. After a couple of months of typing out these simple look what I saw blogs, I started to have ideas of topics, themes which went beyond my typical text and photo format but delved deeper. The post which got me fired up was Solo Women Travelers, a longer opinion piece about the misconceptions I had before the trip and how they were shattered the minute I stepped foot on European soil. I did some minor editing, clicked publish, then went about my day. Coming back to the blog 2 hours later, I was astonished to see quite a few people had subscribed to my blog and even more had commented. Women from different parts of the world, maybe 5 of them, had read the piece and took their time to write out their opinions of what I had written. I was floored. As soon as I thanked them all and wrote back to their comments, I set out to write more complex stories regarding the amazing trip I had undertaken and the transformative effect it had had on me. By the end of that week, I had a dozen blog titles I wanted to write. I felt like I was onto something. I began to take notes, relive the moments which moved me, and wrote at a frantic pace. Soon I had around 10 blog posts, each a couple thousand words in length, but felt like I was missing something with the photographs I had taken. Granted, each blog contained a few photos to help anchor the story, but they were unedited and there were still literally thousands more on my external hard drive. They weren't frivolous photos, but good, well thought out photos taken on a nice camera, which I had bought specifically for the trip, in anticipation of a life-altering expedition. I downloaded photo editing software, watched some free videos online, and was soon bringing the photographs, around 10,000 in total, down to a manageable number and making them pop with the reality and awe I kept seeing in my head. I worked on the editing process for the better part of 3 months, learning as I went and gaining experience as time pressed on. I then installed a publication design software and began assembling the 300 or so photographs into a coffee table book, anticipating a kind of companion to the eventual novel I had been thinking about turning the blog posts into. The thought of the novel came to me after I had made a list of blog posts, representing each of the 19 countries I had visited during the Europe trip. It seemed silly to use a blog as a kind of disjointed book, when I could compile the stories into a coherent narrative and hopefully guide the reader through the experiences which, I thought, helped me grow as a person. And now, after 2 years, countless rewrites, editing, learning graphic design, a marriage, the birth of one baby and a second one on the way is now in front of you. It has been a dream of mine since I was a small child to be an author. That time has finally come. This book was ever meant to be written. The trip was ever meant to happen, and life is something we can only attempt to steer. I sincerely thank you for picking up this book. I hope you enjoy. February 2019, Tyler Grindstaff. End of chapter.